How you guys doing? Hello, what's up guys? How you guys doing? It's a Friday night here in Kampala, Uganda. So I just want to do this video to um, to put out my message today. I've been watching a lot of updates from Nigeria. A few minutes back, I have just read the update from the president, and I'm thinking that why did he have to wait for so long to take that reaction? And I'm also thinking, why does it take so long for leaders to actually understand that people are serious about some of these things? Yeah, so today I want to stand with our Nigerian brothers. Everybody that is going to be watching this video, I think it's very important at this level that we all create a solid kind of unity where we know that, um, where we know that anything that is against human rights anywhere in the world is a serious scare to human rights in every part of the world. When incidents like what happened in Nigeria start to become a norm, it becomes a dangerous phase for other countries and even for the next generations that are going to come, because such incidents should be avoided at all costs. All right, the incidents that happened in Nigeria are a bit extreme, and of course nobody in the world is going to come out to say police was doing the right thing. It was not true. And given what happens in our countries and everywhere in the world, especially in Africa, we have a very big mismatch, especially when it comes to policing and all these forces that are supposed to keep law and order. There is always something that keeps disturbing. There's always something that keeps, where citizens actually are not very comfortable with the status quo of how these institutions do their work. And in most cases, you find that human rights are quite often violated. Now, there are so many reasons why police officers are actually use very excessive force and brutal force. But I think one of them is lack of proper training and monitoring. Because some of these officers go out to towns and communities, they mishandle citizens, they go out to deal with cases, and they want to use a lot of power maybe to prove to the people that, hey, we can shoot here and there. But the scenario of SARS is very regrettable, and this is something that should not have happened. This is something that the government of Nigeria should have detected so early. These are protests that should not have led to the death of the 12 people so far that media is reporting, that we know who passed on during the protests. These should have been detected as soon as possible, because I know governments usually have spying networks and they have all these big networks in security that help them understand what's happening around them and help them understand what's going on. So in my thinking, I'm trying to put this together and think that this should have been a thing for the Nigerian government to understand that people were serious and that people were pushing for something they wanted to be changed. It has taken so long for the government to react, and as a result, many lives have been lost. These lives should never have been lost in the first place. These people should have actually understood the message of the people that was coming out. But also, it's a very, very big problem in Africa that our governments tend to be hardened. They tend not to listen to the voices of the masses. And even when people speak out, they wait until it is extreme. Okay? There are so many other things that happen in nations. And when people speak about it, many leaders take too long to respond, or some think it is actually a conspiracy that people are having to move them out of power. Like I read the thread from President Buhari, and I'm thinking he had this thought of maybe there are people that were empowering these youth to go on the streets. He must have had this thinking of maybe my enemies, his enemies, because he's the president. Maybe his enemies were using the people that were on the street to fight him. So definitely he did not even talk about the people that died. Of course, he talked about the policemen and I think the officers that could have died during the riots, which was supposed to be peaceful protests, until police and other officers started shooting. It's something that is very, very regrettable. And on my own behalf, as Ugaman, and on behalf of my subscribers, we want to express our solidarity with, we want to stand with the Nigerians. We want to stand in solidarity with them in this situation. This is a very tough call, but it's something that has actually opened up a new chapter in Africa as well, to show that if things are not moving right, then you need to stand up and speak up. Okay? It's one thing to stand up. If you don't speak up, you don't get the results. And big thank you to the Nigerian celebrities. I think there is a lot actually we've had to learn. This entire incident has taught us to start thinking how accountable the people that we hold in high regard and celebrating them. It could be a musician, it could be a footballer, it could be a politician. So many people in our societies, we hold them in high regard because they have got that social status that has a huge influence. So I want to send huge thanks to the Nigerian entertainment industry for standing out and for coming out to speak the truth, for coming out to speak against injustice. I think that is something very recommendable. And it's something that is commendable because not so many people do it. To stand with the people, the common people that are going through atrocities. Most of the celebrities that we have in Africa, or even in other countries, they have a status. Many of them don't go through some of these challenges, like where they can encounter SARS during an operation and something goes bad, and maybe they get tortured, they get into the wrong hands, and so many of them don't go through that. But when they come out to stand with the common people, when they come out to stand in solidarity with those that are ailing, with those that have been victims of this brutal force used by the police, I think that was a very admirable act. And we would like to thank you so much because you have given actually a very good precedent to all other celebrities in other African countries. Policing and use of brutal and excessive force, I think, is a very big problem in Africa. And quite often the police is caught on the wrong hand of violating the rights of citizens, violating the rights of the people they are supposed to be protecting instead. And some of these things become very challenging because imagine a scenario where a policeman who is supposed to protect you is again doing something against the law, is doing something that violates your rights. It becomes a very complicated relationship because policing is actually supposed to be more active when the citizens, when the communities work hand in hand with the police. The citizens, the communities, the people in the communities are the eyes of the police. That's how it's supposed to be. Essentially, some of these police forces are actually penetrated by a few cartels, and some have also these dangerous groups that penetrate the system, and they become a very, very big challenge to some of the countries. Especially, you heard what happened like in the last 3 days of the SARS protests. It was very, very, very disheartening when certain things started to happen, especially the time when the shootings happened, where police came and opened fire on protesters, peaceful protesters that did not even have a single gun, that did not have any weapons they were using maybe to fight back or anything. So it was very, very disturbing at that time for anyone to come out and say, shooting was called for. It wasn't called for at all. And of course, the government also has the thing that there are wrong elements who got involved into the protests, so it was very hard for them to tell who were actually doing the right thing and who are not doing the right thing. But at the end of the day, police and the army shouldn't be shooting their own citizens. I mean, if police starts shooting their own citizens, then it becomes a very, very risky environment to even people who come to your country. It even becomes a risky environment to your visitors. So tourism will go down. And this is something that is visible. Because I watched some of those video clips and it was disheartening. It was heartbreaking to watch people being shot at, to watch people touching dead bodies, and filming all these things on Instagram, on everything. It was very, very disheartening. But hey, Nigeria, don't lose hope. We're standing with you. We are together with you in this. And I want to send my prayers to all those victims, to the families of those that lost loved ones, and to those that were actually involved in the protests for a good cause and for a good reason. Thank you so much. You're the people Africa needs, because we need to move to the future. We need to move to the top, and we need to understand that citizens do matter a lot. So, viva, viva Nigeria, viva, viva Nigeria.